Now, obviously, women will do this whenever they're attracted to you, but never in my life have I ever had this happen more so than when I've had a full sack. It's crazy how women will gaze right at your balls, just staring, because they're sizing you up. They're sizing you up in many different ways. Because it is a unconscious thing oftentimes, but you'll find that when you flirt with a woman and she's feeling you, right? She's really getting the sensation of being attracted to your spirit, because women, looks are absolutely going to play a factor, don't get me wrong. And I've heard a lot about this body game that's been going around for the past couple of years in the manosphere, and I get it, but I'm not really a proponent of it. Definitely be healthy, but do it for the sake of being healthy, and looking good for the sake of just feeling good. I mean, I don't really see any other reason apart from that. If you're doing this because you want the hot chicks and all that, like if you're doing the practice of semen retention, or you're doing the practice of the full Sackian man, all because you want to be more attractive to women, you're not going to get the benefits, you're not going to get the full total experience, because you're so hyped up on the superficiality and the superfluousness of the situation to see the deeper philosophy of no philosophy when it comes to the full sack. And women, they're also they're going to find you very mysterious and peculiar, and you might find some of them, just when you just speak and are assertive and you show that dominance, let's say, not because you're trying to be dominant, you're not even thinking about being dominant, you just are dominant. Like a lot of these these dating coaches and all that, what they're really trying to teach you is how to be a man without being a man. That's what their business plan and their marketing goal and strategy is. Because I don't really think that it's possible to live totally as a man and still be consumed with trying to get female validation. I understand it, because there's a lot of shadow integration, there's a lot of anima and animus integration for both men and women that has to happen in order for us to develop further into ourselves. Like, anima integration is really one of the most important things that a man can do when it comes to living the truth and letting die what is false. Because anima integration, for those of you that are unaware, is essentially the totality of feminine experiences inside a male psyche, whereas the animus integration is the totality of masculine experiences inside a female psyche. And so what I strive to do with my videos and just my work in general, whether it's in the Regal Academy or in my Godlike Mastery offer, is to show people what they already know in a different way. Because I see the divinity in you just as much as I know that there's a divinity in me. It's the namaste, right? The namaste, I recognize, my divinity recognizes your divinity. Because we all share that same essence. We all share this observer of the observing. That's the thing that we all share together. And there's something deeper inside of us. It's all calling us home. And many people are going to be consumed by the need for lust. Like social media, for example. I am of the, not necessarily the sentiment, but of the perception that social media is made to ensure, at least maybe it wasn't made to do this, but it's now been cultivated to be such a way that it's designed to keep men in lust and to keep women entitled. And what I want to reclaim as a narrative structure to project into the symbolic narrative field is that I want to see how social media is actually not made for entertainment. Social media was made for those who are inspired to change the world for a better way, and not just because, like, I'm so attached to the melodrama of changing the world because I just can't stand this world so much. There's too much of this, there's too much of that. Oh, I can't stand it. It's not buying into that. It's just there's nothing else to do while we're in this body. And I'm not suicidal, so I might as well just aim to alleviate unnecessary suffering, because what else am I going to do? And that's what everything that I do is made to do. I want to relieve unnecessary suffering however it manifests, because to relieve unnecessary suffering, the way that anything manifests oftentimes in our day and age is through lust, it's through greed, it's through these different things. And I mean, entitlement as well. Women are very entitled. They really do think that they're entitled to your full sack. I mean, they think that they're entitled to the energy of your full sack. They are entitled to the energy of you just being who you are. And they're going to get a very rude awakening. Like, female loneliness is going to continue to increase. And I've been wanting to make an updated video about this, because I made this video a while back titled something like "Female Isolation Will Increase." And I want to make an updated video on it because at the time, in the spirit of the time when I made that video, I wasn't necessarily sad, but I was just feeling very compassionate toward women. And it's not that I'm not losing that compassion or anything, it's just that I see that the compassion game is still a part of the melodrama. Compassion is a weird thing because compassion is part of the melodrama, and yet in order to be more total and more whole in the spirit of the moment, you have to learn how to utilize, and not necessarily even utilize, but just be with compassion. Because for everybody else, when, like, I look at anybody now, because I don't see impurities anymore. I don't really see sin anymore. I don't see these things. I see beings who are just trying to do the best they can. I don't see evil. I don't see good. I see beyond good and evil at this point. And it's not to say that good and evil doesn't exist. I'm not saying that. It's just that I'm seeing the beauty behind these things. And even the weird things that are going on with women. Like, women they themselves are in a weird situation, because they're in a spirit of the time where they have to recognize that their own pride and their own entitlement to your energy is going to get in the way of their true fulfillment, really. Because most women who are career women and all this stuff, like, they're not happy. And even if they say that they are, they're just, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't see how they are truly happy at all, because the happiest and the most fulfilling women I've ever seen are the women who are taking care of their children and loving that aspect of life to its totality. I know that there are women who are career women that are very much so involved with the nurturing qualities of life, but I think a lot of it is a substitute for being a mother. I don't think it's possible for women to really understand their own value until they start to see, like, because Jordan Peterson said a while back, and I'm not necessarily saying I'm a fan of Jordan Peterson or anything, I'm just saying that he said that women know what they have to do, men have to figure it out. And that, to this day, is one of the most obviously non-obvious things I've ever heard when it comes to intersexual dynamics. Because men do have to become, women just are. And that's something that a lot of women don't want to accept. Think about all of the social media things that are going on right now. I've seen many men who are generally very attractive men, like, for the most part. And I'm not a homosexual, but I'm just saying that these are attractive men. And they've got things going for themselves. They're smart, they're charismatic, they have good energy, and they're humorous, all these things. And yet, for some reason, the man who is doing these things, that is more technologically a savant of technology. You know, he's a savant of classic, and he's timeless. I've seen men like this online. And then you see the women who have like nothing but going for them but their looks, and they're just saying things that men want to hear. And they've got tons and tons and tons and tons of more views and followers and all this stuff. And you look through the comments and the simps are just like, "Oh, you look so beautiful today, girl." And if like they get a heart on their comment, it's just like their whole, because on YouTube you can have the content creators, you can see the content creators when they like a a comment, right? And it's like they live for these moments where they feel seen by this content creator who's just siphoning them for their energy. I mean, these are sophisticated energy harvesters. So not every woman that ponders upon your full sack is going to be one that wants you for you. Now, some of them, yeah, they're going to be obviously flirtatious and all that, but a lot of the time, man, it's not necessarily a good thing. It can feel validating, sure. It's like, wow, okay, this woman's just like, I remember there was a time when I was at the gym and I was doing sit-ups, on an incline. So I was on this incline bench, and well, technically I guess it's a decline, but you'll know what I'm talking about. So like I'm doing sit-ups to really work, the lower abs there. And I'm doing these sit-ups and I see this woman next to me. She comes over, she like stands next to me, and I can feel her just staring at me, like giving me that side eye, but like in a oh, I'm definitely checking this guy out kind of a way. And I'm not bragging here or anything like that. I'm just giving my experience, okay? And so this woman looks at me, and then she full on like is looking at my fucking nutsack, like she's full on looking at my nuts. And I'm like, I'm flattered and scared at the same time. Like I'm kind of turned on and scared at the same time. And I'm like, what the this is kind of this is freaky. And so I just kind of get up to walk away, because I don't really like that. Because as soon as I like looked over to see, she was actually looking at my fucking nuts. As soon as I looked over, she looked like she wasn't looking at me directly at my freaking nuts. But that's what these women do. They have no shame. Sometimes they do have shame, like sometimes they don't want you to know, but sometimes women, like there was a woman recently who I was just having a normal conversation with, and I said something that in hindsight could have been seen as an innuendo, but I did not mean it as an innuendo. And when I said it, I was just being myself. And when I said it, she looked directly at my nuts, and I was like, this sack gazing, like these women are sack gazing out here. That's a pretty much a what's a good term? What's a good term for this kind of a thing? I want to create my own term for this, because it's a strange phenomenon, but it's a true phenomenon. And I'm sure many men who are part of the full Sackian clan and part of the full Sackian men have experienced this. It's very strange. And again, it's flattering, but it's also very bizarre, because you don't always want women looking at you like that, because the intentions of women, especially if they're I don't want to say Jezebel spirits, but kind of Jezebel spirits, where they are just seeking whom they can devour, right? That's all that they want. They all that they want is for you to give them energy, because they need your energy. We're the ones that bring the party, men. We men, especially full Sackian men, we're the ones who bring the party. When you go full Sachiavelli and Captain Amerisac on these motherfuckers, you're the one bringing the inspiration, you're the one bringing the vitality, you're the one bringing all this energy to life. And some people are going to just, they're not going to appreciate it. Some people are not going to, they're going to take advantage of it. It really depends on what's happening and how it's happening. But one thing's for certain, one thing's for sure, is that everybody's going to want a piece of you. Everybody's going to want a piece of you when you are truly just living as you are, because you're no longer trying to be somebody that's attractive. You're no longer trying to be someone that's like, this way or that way. You're no longer trying to be a full Sakian. You just are a full Sakian. And that's where the freedom of a new timeline arises. But the contagion of mediocrity is very much so prevalent in the spirit of the time when you are moving beyond these weird transitions in which people want that. They want to feel like they're wanted by you, and they see you as someone more important than them. And a lot of these women, they'll have boyfriends, like they'll even be married. It's crazy. I experience this all the time, where a married woman, for example, recently as well, this was only like a week ago, and I know she's married because I've seen her with her husband, who they have wedding rings, right? And she came over to me, like, in my vicinity, and like, let her hair down, and making sure she looked good and all that. And some men would be like, okay, well, maybe, and women will be like, well, maybe she's just trying to look good. Like, well, who cares? It's not for you. And I'm like, no. She came over to me and did this stuff and like bent over in a certain way around, like, no. Don't tell me I'm crazy, because I know I'm not. Like, I'm kind of psychotic sometimes when I need to relieve stress. I go full Machiavelli for sure, but I'm not undiscerning in my energy. I know how to discern energy to the best of my ability. So don't tell me I don't know what I'm going through, or what I've experienced isn't what I've actually experienced. This is the craziness of a lot of the cucks, because they won't believe that women are actually capable of that, because they're so used to having to pay to be in a woman's presence. They're so used to have to pay to be around women that they don't know that women will pay to be with them. Like, if they were that guy, right? If they were that guy in that woman's eyes, women will pay to be with them. It's just the way that it is. So I trust that this message reached those that have eyes to see and ears to hear. And I trust that those that are prepared for godlike mastery and want to go deeper into the integration process are going to go through godlike mastery. Okay, my godlike mastery offer is not for everybody. Neither is the Regal Academy, quite frankly. But everything that I do is designed to be a system to help you get out of systems. And no matter what you do, no matter how you see it, it's going to be one of the best decisions that you make for your spiritual progress, because you're going to learn something no matter what. And it's important for you to learn how to invest in yourself, because you can invest in yourself now, or you can pay the price of not investing in yourself later on. So, peace be with you. Be blessed. Until next time.